Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Live from Hollywood, Florida. Small crowd here. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Last night we had about 70 people. Over here, way more. Let me just turn the camera around so people understand what's going on here. Let me see if I could. Hold on, let's see. Look at this. Look at this. Unbelievable. You guys in the back over there, stand up. Stand up. Wow. Look at that. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Beautiful place. I have to say thank you to Rabbi Nightingale, Yishkoyach Esha Torah. Who else I have to say thank you to? Oh, right now, by the way, as we speak, the wives of MDY are getting together for this paint thing. So it's a chizik for the women at this one location is in Surfside. That's where my son lives. And I got to tell you something. Everything is min hashamayim. Everything. So when we were organizing the shiurim, I told the organizers, thank you, Michael Ben Shitrid and Mark Ashkenazi and everything. I said, listen, I haven't seen my father in months. He lives in North Miami Beach. And hold on. I'm very sensitive to sound. Very sensitive. He lives over here in Miami or whatever. And please make a shiur that's close to his home so that after shiur one day, because he gives 2 shiurim a day, 7 daf each. One in Hebrew, one in Yiddish. It's hours. It's very hard to catch him. I spoke to his wife, and his wife said, okay, Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, I think she said. Anyway, so I tell these guys, okay, my dad lives in Hollywood, and make the shiur next to his house somewhere. Okay, great. Then I come here realize it's not Hollywood. He lives in North Miami Beach. But it's min hashamayim. Because, and if you know of a story, somebody that wouldn't have come all the way out there to North Miami Beach, I didn't realize what a drag. It took me 35 minutes just to get here from where my son. It's not the same thing, but you guys get the idea. It's in the wrong place tonight, but in the right place. We're in the right place. It's all min hashamayim. It's beautiful. So it's great to be here. On a typical day, if it wasn't the 9 days, we would sing a good niggin or something. But it's the 9 days, so just to be here is unbelievable. Thank you so much for having me. The breakfast in the Beis Medrash in MDY, sponsored by the Kamiansky family in memory of Rita Epstein, Reza Gidel, Bas, Reb Zevela, Shalom. I'm just going to read a couple of quick emails. This was unbelievable. Yankee Hertz from Staten Island. He happens to be a famous singer in the he's a Belzer Chassid, famous singer, and it's his first siyum. Here goes, just
כל השרוקסים יש להם חלק, יש להם חלק, לעולם הבא, כל השרוקסים יש להם חלק, יש להם חלק, לעולם הבא. Good morning, Rabbi Isai! Yeah!
The Spinker Rebbe from Yerushalayim, he was trying to reach me today. And finally, I said, listen, I got to give a shiur, and I'm sorry, whatever. So after the Hebrew shiur, I reached out, and he said, listen, my son made a siyum first time. He's 40-something years old, and he made a siyum with you, and please get on. So I got on, gave him a little bracha. So he's not the only chassid making a siyum today for the first time. And I want to show you something super interesting. I spoke about it yesterday. There are 3 new things going on in MDY, which I discussed yesterday. One of them is the satellite locations. We didn't have this a year ago. It started about 3 months ago. It was always a dream, and I said, okay, how's it going to happen? In Israel, it's working unbelievably. Today, for the very first time, they started in Moshav Bet Chilkiah and Yad Binyamin, and check out this list. This is a list of 13, 14 places that every single day during shiur time, they have a screen like this, and they watch the shiur live, and hopefully we could get it out. If you have a place, a location, I'm telling you, it's much better than doing it on YouTube, on your couch, in your bed, or whatever it is. Do it with the chevra. It doesn't necessarily have to be live. In Eretz Yisrael, it's easy to do because it's 9 o'clock at night, and all these places get together at 9 o'clock. Here, it's going to be 1 a.m., it's a different story. I get it. But maybe you do a recorded shir. To do it together with the chevra is much better. 4 generations. Did we show this already? In Borough Park. What else do we have? No, before we go there, there's other stuff I want to show you. This is crazy, this car. Do you see what it says on the license plate? No. Good morning, Rabbi Say, MDY. And how do you know it's an MDY car? Because it says everywhere, it says on these stickers, MDY. So it's Gishmak to the Daf, all that stuff. Good morning, Rabbi Say, What else do we have? Oh, last night my son Moshe came over to me and said something that made my heart smile. Abba, tomorrow morning I want to come with you to Shachris. Please make sure I'm up. Sure enough, we walk together and boom, Moshe stops in his tracks and says, I came on the right day. Oh my gosh, is that him? He's not talking about me. He's talking about Fischl, the famous Fischl. I came around the right. You see, one of the things in our personal bucket list while coming to Baltimore over the summer was to meet, more importantly, thank Fischl, the man who not only sponsors but also serves as the catalyst for Moshe's learning the daf with MDY. Reina Sharon, airports of Ben Azmanim, Moshe has stuck with the daf, and it's all rooted in the momentum chizik he's gotten from Fischl's support. After davening, we had the schus to go over and thank him in person. Moshe marveled at how tall Fischl is and told him that always finishes the email shiurim at a regular 1 speed. I, for my part, was just blown away by the height of his warmth and generosity. He was giving out $1,000 per person for whoever made a siyum on Sanhedrin, I think it was. Then when money started running out a little bit, then it went to $250 now. I think the last Masech is $250 for somebody that never did daf before. Unbelievable chesed. I just wanted to share this moment with you because to us, this isn't about being part of some big 40,000 plus crowd. This is a mishpacha, a Yomi family holding each other up, pushing each other forward, one daf, one day at a time, with deep gratitude and continued admiration. Michal Green. Rebelli's fiery good morning ignites energy and motivation. The boys of Chazak Day Camp in Queens, New York, setting the tone for an incredible day ahead. Thank you, Daniel Alon. So I have 2 camps here today.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Now it's schwach.
Gotta do it again.
Yeah.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Thank you. That was much better.
He starts his day with Torah. He learns with the daf, with Simchas HaTorah. Hashem loves us for learning Torah. These are probably songs at Ora's The Zone Camp. Leading by example is Rabbi Levitin, our head counselor. Before the 750 plus people on campus are getting up, he's sitting in his office and learning the daf with MDY. It starts from the top and trickles its way down to the staff and the campers. May we zoich in our mission to bring Klal Yisrael closer to Torah. Thank you. Struli down. What else? How many people here know Steve Seychelles? How many people are part of his retention group? Very nice, very nice. So Steve says, we have already 15 members of our Florida retention group who have confirmed to be at tonight's share. I'm not sure if he was talking about yesterday or today. Tonight? Tonight, okay.
He took a poll.
A poll.
Who's coming?
And he's not even here. He's in Baltimore. Please try if you can to give them a shout out. Does this count as a shout out? The group. In our group is a very special young man, 11-year-old Moshe Gedalia. Where's Moshe Gedalia? Is he here? Hey, Moshe, get over here. Get over here. Moshe Gedalia. Moshe Gedalia is just a year old when his father was nifter and has been doing the daf every day since Shavuos. Wow. Unbelievable. Since Shavuos. You like it?
Yeah.
You understand it?
Yeah.
You're going to be the biggest Talmid Chacham in your class. You know that, right? Unless they also do it. Don't tell them the secret and like this. So Steve Seychelles is big into this. Wow. You know Steve? You have no clue who he is, but he knows who you are. Thank you so much for coming. Yishkoyach. Wow. Unbelievable. Hold on. Say hello to the camera. They didn't say hello. Hi. All right. Sadik here. Rebelli, although I live a good part of the year in Florida, I'm in Baltimore this week with family. I'm trying to possibly fly down Monday morning to catch the last 2 shiurim. Listen to this. He wants to fly all the way out here, Steve. Although I'll be on Zoom each night this week. Our MDY retention group has grown, Baruch Hashem, to 90 members. And as many as 30 respond to our daily posts for completing the daf. If you're part of the group and you're doing the daf, respond. Why not? Give the other guys chizuk, no? Also, if new people are coming any night for the first time, please offer for them our retention group. Here's the link. See the link? It's up there. Here, let me show the link real quickly. But you don't want crazy people going in there. Steve Seychelles, MDY Ambassador, Florida. Great ambassador. All right. From Orlando? Who's here from Orlando? Wow. Shkoyach. What's your name? Hold on. Let me do this trick. Hold on. It's going to spin to you. Say wave. Harrison what?
James.
For real? Again.
Harrison James.
Harrison Shames? How do you spell it?
Shames.
Awesome. Givaldic. Okay, back to me. I think, are we done here? Okay, this guy said, I'll just read his email here. You can read it with me. How come that's not on? Here we go. Basically what he's saying is, in the beginning I thought this guy's going to the wrong place. He says, I didn't realize you lived in Farakaway. You lived in many places, in yeshivas. He heard that Eliyahu Navi is the one who will resolve all the questions. Teku, because Eliyahu didn't die and lived all generations. To pass in a shaila, you have to be a contemporary. You have to know about refrigerators and all this stuff, cars. So then he says, and this is true, I also believe this part of it. I think by your living in all those places, attending all those yeshivas, Hashem was preparing you to start MDY and appeal to everyone. It's true. That part is true. I learned in Hasidic yeshivas, more modern yeshivas, and very Litvish, Haredi yeshivas. I learned it all, and I lived in many, many places. I lived in modern Orthodox community in Lincolnwood. Back in the day, it was more modern Orthodox. I lived in a very verfrumpt community in Bnei Brak, in Reb Zilberstein's community, in Borough Park, in Flatbush, in Farakaway, in Long Beach. The kids are, I've been everywhere, and I speak 3 languages, English, Yiddish, and Hebrew, and I think Hashem had a plan. He wanted me to be able to connect the Hasidim and Litvaks and modern Orthodox people at all the same time. You include in all those places, going to Africa, keep Margie together to help a woman. Okay, I got it. Eliezer Rosenthal.
Marriage, that's marriage.
That's what.
Marriage.
Oh, that's what he said. Okay, I got it. Okay, now I have. Thank you. Eliezer Rosenthal, a person who grew up in Flatbush. I wasn't really reading it, but yeah, that's what he meant to say. Okay. Like I said, a little bit in a bind here for time. Once again, I'm going to apologize to the Olam. I'm not going to be able to really stick around like I did last night and like I usually do. But you know what? I'll tell you this. If it goes well, I'll try to come back in a few months. I have a plan of coming back to Florida, and I'll try to come back here as well. And okay, so let's jump into it. Oh, I do have to do the sponsor, sorry. David Salomon, dedicated memory of Imari, Reb Shmuel, Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Dov. He's a partner he's actually a yearly sponsor. Besech sponsors, Anonymous, Anonymous, may our learning be a shield of protection, a source of unity and blessing for Am Yisrael. Joel Gedalius, Leonish was my father, Jack Gedalius. Monthly sponsors, TCS Israel, powered by Talk and Save Anonymous, Refor Shleima, Chulda Bas Bracha. Daily sponsors, Shmuley Ariel and Ezra Gans. Welcome to Florida. Ironically, harder for us to go to Miami Beach than Utah, Illinois, or New Jersey, but we'll do our best. That's how hard it is. Are they here? Shmuley Ariel, Gans, are you here? No? Anonymous, L'zeicha Nishmas, Hariz al HaKadosh, and L'zeicha Nishmas, Rabbi Al, Rabbi Avram ben Yaakov, longtime Shamish at Rabbi Herb's Shul Flatbush. He left no family. And Shamash should have an aliyah. Avi Steinberg, B'schus, my dear friend, Shmuel Yoel ben Altefega, who forced me to join MDY 3 years ago. Thank you. It's Mamash today's sugya. If you can force somebody to do certain things, we'll see. Sruli Bernstein, Lilu Nishmas, Freda Rezel, Bas Avram Yitzchok Alei Shalom, Michael Chessel, and East South Florida. In appreciation to Rebelli and MDY. Thank you, Michael. Thanks for all you do. Shkoyach. Usher Miller, I want to do video editing and AI for MDY. Please follow up. Who? Who's going to follow up? Waiting for a callback. Keep on waiting. Honor to serve. He's paying money for us to call him back. Givaldic. Okay, maybe Yossi Klein will see this and he'll call him back. Maybe Mark Ashkenazi. I don't know. Who calls back people? Rabbi Adam Pesach Dubin, in honor of the Bar Mitzvah Shlomo Dubin, who has learned Hari's Be'iyun for his Bar Mitzvah, Mazel Tov, MDYR, monthly, Refor Shlema, for Yonatan Eitan ben Bashav Bracha, Refor Shlema, Mordechai ben Esther, Refor Sayeled, Daniel Zev ben Ayelet Esther, Refor Shlema. All right, Rabbi Isai, we're holding pretty much 2 lines from the bottom of Mem Beis, Amud Beis. So just to give you a little bit of a review of what we had yesterday, it said that Rav Sheshes used to find these difficult Mishnayos and Brises and present them to his Talmidim, test them, see what they could come up with. And it says like this. In the beginning, there's a Reisha and a Seifa of this Brisa, and there's a middle part. So the Gemara goes step by step. We stop in the middle because, it's almost usher to go into the next page when it comes to Daf Yomi, right? So even if you have to stop in the middle of a word, you stop. It's not a real halacha, but there are those who are very makbid, especially in the 9 days. I'm messing. So it says like this: Kol hamazalois mutarim chutz mishemesh v'yareach. All different constellations you're allowed to depict besides the sun and the moon. So the Gemara tells us that it must be talking about when you find it. Okay? Because if it's talking about, there's two options. Either he created it, he fashioned it, he took a chisel and a hammer and he fashioned whatever we're talking about, the sun, the moon. But if we're talking about making it, that can't be. Why? Because you're not allowed to make any constellation. Not only the sun, you're not allowed to make a star. Who's that? Do I know you? You look like somebody I know. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Shane Gold.
How you doing? Shalom Aleichem. From far, you look like one of my friends from Chicago, but now I see, okay. Shane, Shalom Aleichem. Awesome. Okay, maybe I met you here once before. Is that it? No? Okay. Great. So we have case number one is that the constellations, you can't fashion any constellation. So what does it mean all the mazalis are mutter? It must mean that you found it. If you found a depiction of a star, you're allowed to keep it. But if you find the depiction of the sun and the moon, you're not allowed to keep it. So we're going to put underneath it, moitze. It's talking about you found it. Now, the second part of the brisa must be talking about that he fashioned it. That's what we said yesterday. Second part is, kol partzufin, not kol mazalis. All the faces are mutter, besides the face of a human being, which we're going to get into a little bit more later. That of a doll. The human face is the worst face to chisel out and make. Does anybody know why? Why do you think it is? Why? Yes, I heard a bunch of people saying the same thing. Tselem Elokim. It's even more than that. It's that, but it's more. We're going to see in the Gemara. Okay, I'll cheat. I'll tell you the end. The Gemara says that Hashem says, "Don't make a depiction of me, of Hashem." How do you make a depiction of Hashem? What does he look like? The Gemara understands the human face. When you make a human face, is what Hashem says don't do. Don't make a depiction of me, meaning the human face. So the Gemara again proves, we learned this yesterday, when it says Kol partzufim mutarim, is talking about human face, meaning making, not finding. Because if you find it, it's okay. You're allowed to find a human doll, a human depiction. You're not allowed to make it. You're not allowed to create it. So then we have like this. The beginning is Moitze, the middle is Isa, and then the Gemara is now that's where we're holding. Then the end is Moitze, which the Gemara doesn't like. The Gemara never likes when you don't have a universal pshat. It would be a lot better if everything was Moitze, not Moitze, Isa, Moitze. That doesn't make so much sense. And that's what the Gemara is going to ask. So, 2 lines from the bottom. Here's just a question. Would any of you go into a shul that had a nice statue, like a 6-foot statue of Trump, right as you walk in? Here, like that. Like, is this mamish? In Yana de Yoima. Here, give me this thing. Could somebody bring this over here? Can't believe it. As we're talking, this is the question. I asked the guys, the Israeli guys also. Will you walk into a shul? Look at this. Wow. This is gewaldig. It's my buddy. Lachluchas. But let's say it was like real, it's like made out of solid stone, Trump. Would you go into a show like that? I wouldn't. How about if your Rosh Hashiva had a ring on his finger? Would you learn about, what would you think about him? Your Rav, okay, forget your Rosh Hashiva. What if the Rebbe, your Rebbe, that your family is very close to? He has a shtreimel and the whole thing, but he has a ring on his finger. Huh? You'd have a hard time. How you do, Rabbi Esserson? Shalom Aleichem. So, we're going to see that Amoraim used to wear rings on their fingers, and shuls used to have these statues as you walked in to give honor to. We do things differently today. What we look down upon back then was more accepted. We're firmer than them. You know what I'm saying? Says the Gemara. Iba Oisei. So we're going back. This middle part, you see? Let's go here. The middle part that we said at the bottom, we said he created it. Iba Oisei Maseifa. Kol Atzuris Mutaris Chutz Mitzuras Drokain. All depictions are mutter. There's only one that you're not allowed to keep, and that is something that has the liking of a dragon. Here we have this. What do you got over here?
This gift to you.
Yeah, I want my gift now. This is one of the most unique gifts I've ever received. Here, let me. Yishkoyach Michael. This is real, my friends. You could count the Michael Chessel. When it comes to alligators, look at this thing. You had to kill this guy so young just to give you a. And even has an MDY sticker on it. I love it. And this is the real thing. Look, in case they stop me. Customs. The teeth, everything. Even smells a little bit. It's the real thing. Anyway, so if you have a dragon, I don't know, there's this, so whatever, it works. For the prop, it's good enough. Love it. Yesterday, a guy gave the two most interesting gifts ever. I got this, and a guy gave me, what's his name? Hall. Bobby Hall, the hockey player.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. He gave me Bobby Hall, a puck signed by Bobby Hall, and a picture of him. Where is he? He's here today. Shalom Aleichem. Both the most unique gifts ever.
You can't have it in our house. Wrong.
Okay. Listen, is there anything else you can't have in your house? If there's any gold dishes, let me know. Shkoyach.
Bloody nose.
Yeah, it was a picture of a bloody nosed Bobby Hall. Okay, listen, some people give me pictures of Gdailim, some Bobby Hall. It's all good. Listen, as long as it's flat and fits into my suitcase, we're good.
Yourself.
Oh yeah, the picture of myself. That was in Eretz Yisrael, yeah. Wow. It's all stuff that, how do we fit that into the daf, the Bobby Hall thing? We're going to have to figure out how we fit it into the daf. So, says Gemara. But if we're talking about creating something, what's wrong with creating a dragon? Finding a dragon is a problem. Why? Because it's most likely Avodah Zarah. But creating one, you want to create a dragon, create a dragon. You shouldn't create with me, says Hashem, a god of silver and gold. Haniyin, the only problem is these things. There's no problem to create that of a dragon. We must be talking about, and that's what I was saying before. No, that's for later. Let's go back over here. Here. Kol atzuros mutaros. This is the last one. All depictions are allowed, besides that of a dragon. We just said you're allowed to create a dragon. So what are you not allowed to do? If you're not allowed to find one. If you find one, you're not allowed to keep it. So the last part of this brayz is talking about moitzei. So we have like this. The beginning is moitzei, the end is moitzei. The center part is a problem. Why is the center oisei? Says the Gemara, it's not like we learned. If you find a vessel that has the picture of the sun, anyway, Reisha v'seifa b'moitzei. So it comes out a big problem. How do you have the Reish and the Seifa in one thing, talking about finding? Umtziasa is talking about creating. So we'll say it nicely. Reisha v'seifa b'moitzei umtziasa b'oisei. It's a question. Amar Abaye, in, yes, that's how it is. Reisha v'seifa b'moitzei umtziasa b'oisei. I think a few times in Shas, at least a few, Abaye has this kind of way of thinking. It's not a problem to have one brisa with two different things in it. Rava is more of the opinion everything has to be the same. Kula b'moitze. So we do this here. This is Abaya, moitze, oisa, moitze, that works. Rava is going to say everything is moitze. The problem is the middle thing. Umitziyasa Rabbi Yehuda the Sanya. That you're asking me a question about the middle. The middle goes according to Rabbi Yehuda. The Sanya Rabbi Yehuda Moisiv Avdemus Menika V'Sarafis. There are two things that, if you find, they are certainly Avodah Zarah, and that is a woman nursing and sarapis. And I'm going to show you a picture. I Googled it, and it's interesting. It comes out similar to what the Gemara is saying. What's wrong with Avodah Zarah that of a woman nursing? Because you're trying to say it's like Chava Yimenu nursing the entire world, having power on the world. Sarapis, Hashem Yosef is Yosef Atzadik, Shesar, he's the Sar, how do you say Sar in English? The prince, the officer, the Umeifis, Eskoloi Mkuloi, he quiets down the whole world. So certain Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says, Vudenoket Griva V'Kokail. He has this measuring device. So when I Googled it, very interesting. Where was it? Put it in the wrong place. Here we go. Here it is. If you do, in English, sarapis, the way it sounds, Sarepis or something like that. Google it, and this is what pops up first thing. And basically, that's the vessel, the measuring vessel on him. That's what the Gemara says. If he has a measuring vessel, that's a problem. Vihi, and the woman, what kind of Avodah Zarah? The Nokta Ben, she has a son, become a Nika, and she's nursing him. If it depicts her nursing, that's an Avodah Zarah. Fine. What kind of dragon is Asur? I got to show you this, because this literally happened today, right? In Russia. What happened in Russia today?
Tsunami.
Earthquake. Check this out. Because we're talking about Avodah Zarahs that break on their own. What I found there. That's yesterday's sugya of Avodah Zarah that falls on its own and breaks. Are you allowed to use the pieces? Boom. Mamish today's sugya. Maybe that whole earthquake happened just for our sugya, for Daf Yomi. No, I'm just kidding.
Just like AI was.
Yeah. So anyways, what does a dragon look like? Says the Gemara called Sheshli Tzitzim Bein Prokov. It has fins between its vertebrae. Machvi Ravasi showed on himself, Bein Pirkei Tzavar. He went like this, right over here in the back of his neck. Okay, so that's where that type of dragon, but it comes out like this, says the Gemara. Meaning that if you find a dragon that doesn't have these vertebrae, these, what do you call them, the fins, then you're allowed to use it, because that's not a real Avodah Zarah. Has these fins on its neck, the back of its neck. Here, you guys have this in Florida. No?
Yeah.
Here it has those little things on the back of its neck. Okay? Wow. You guys don't like that kind of stuff. Okay, I get it. Story. Rabbi says story. I once went with Rabbi Lazar. He found a ring. Here we have a real depiction of a ring with a dragon on it. He found one of these. Now, what did we learn a moment ago? Check this out. What does it say here? All the way at the end, Seifa. Kol atzuros. If you find one of these, mutaros, you're allowed to keep it. Chutz, midrakan. Besides, if you find the dragon. And it's talking about, we said, moitze. You found it. So he can't keep it. He has a problem. He can't keep it. Now, it's gold. What do you do? It's gold. I told you about my ring that I found. That was yesterday. I didn't tell you about my ring. I had a strange story. Very strange. But seriously, I still don't understand pshat in it. I was in a public bathroom in a airport. And on right where you wash your hands, there was a ring with a diamond in it. So I picked it up, and I'm like, well, I'm going to do a Shabbos Aveda here. So how am I going to do a Shabbos? So I said, you know what? I'll do a Kiddush Hashem. I'll wait there. I'm not going to give it I'll wait there for 5 minutes. If somebody lost it or whatever, if I see somebody coming back, I'll give it back to him. If not, I'm going to keep it. I don't know if I did the right thing or not. Anyway, I waited for 5 minutes, maybe more, and then I take it and I go and I show it to my wife. I said, "Look at this. I don't know if it's real. I don't know anything. It could be it's a fake thing. I mean, this is what I found." She said, "Oh, interesting." I put it in my pocket. 3 minutes later, and I was sitting. I was just preparing shir, whatever I was doing, and I'm like, I got to take a look at it. And I put my hand in my pocket, and it's gone. Gone. I get up. I look everywhere, around, nowhere. It's not in any of my pockets. I never saw the thing again, ever in my life. It was weird. It was just like, I got to hold it for 3 minutes, and that was it. What happened exactly? I don't know. Anyways, he found a ring, and it had a dragon on it. Listen to this. He passed an idol worshiper, but he was a youngster. He didn't mention anything to him. But then he found an idol worshiper, an adult. I want you to be mevatel this ring. How do you say bittel in English?
Nullify.
Nullify this ring. Make it non-Avodah Zarah. I love this story. V'loi bitla. The guy said, "No, I'm not going to nullify it." Story. He gave him a good fraskin upon him, they say. A smack in the face. Literally, smacked him in the face. So the guy says, "Oh, ubitla." Like the famous story. Everybody knows the story, but you got to say it because the mamish fits in. A guy goes to the bank, and you could stick in any nationality you want, whatever you want. Guy goes to the bank, they say, "I'm sorry, we can't help you." He says, "You got to help me." He says, "No, listen, you don't have the right paperwork. We're not." He says, "You got to help me." He says, "We're not helping you. Get out." Next. He refuses to get out of the line. So they call the manager. The manager walks over to the guy, smacks him real hard in the face. The guy falls down to the floor. He gets up, he says, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he walks out. So somebody runs after him and says, "What happened?" He says, "You guys were just telling it to me." He explained it to me. So he tells this guy, he says, "Listen, I want you to nullify this." The guy says, "No." He says, "No." Poof. "Oh, okay, yeah. No problem. It's nullified." So what do we learn from this? Huh? If I told you the story, what would you learn from it? The Gemara learns three different things.
Children.
What?
How to raise
How to reach goyish children. What? What do you learn from it?
If you kona it, you can bottle it.
Okay, very good. But not more than that. Who said that? Hi, Rafal, stand up a second. Who could be mevatel it?
The guy.
So if you have something, a random guy off the street could nullify your thing. Isn't that a huge chiddush?
Yeah, that is.
I think it's a huge chiddush. So that's one thing. Very good, Rafal. What else can we learn from this? Huh? Only an adult could do it. Very good. What does that mean? What does an adult mean to us?
He has to know about the.
Yeah, he knows about it. Very good. And what else can we learn from it?
That even if you force someone to do it, it works.
So what, all three of you are friends right over there. The three guys. Nobody else wants to answer. Only you three guys. Excellent. So you got all three things. That you could force somebody by threatening their life or whatever to do a bittul. Excellent. So says the Gemara. Well, they all have our art scroll. I don't know. One or the other. Shema minot las. Exactly. If you know the answer, you can't answer. But they obviously know that rule and they answer. They don't have art scroll. They're Bali Kishrin. Smart dudes. The Gemara says we learn three things out of this. Shema minot mevatel avodah zarah shaloi v'shel chaveroi. I think this is the biggest chiddush. That I could go and nullify somebody else's avodah zarah. What do I have to do with it? I'm from a different religion completely. I don't even do dragons. I do sun. I can nullify that guy's dragon. Peleplay, okay. Ushmamina. But by the way, as we learned yesterday, once it becomes the Jews, there's no nullifying a Jew. A Jew's avodah zarah never becomes nullified. Ushmamina. You have to know what's going on. You have to understand it. In other words, you have to be an adult. If you don't understand it, you can't be mevatel. Let me just tell you a quick story. Ramayach Bitterman says in the name of Baba Sali, it happened with the Baba Sali, that he didn't have a minyan. He had 9 people. Now there's a halacha, very rarely used, that if you have 9 people and you're really in a bind, and you have to do a minyan, you can use a youngster if the youngster is holding a chumash. So the Baba Sali says, okay, listen, we're stuck. You have a kid, so explain to him what davening is, and then we'll be mitzvah him. So the father tells the kid, okay, listen, grab the siddur, just say the words here, and we're going to daven now. The Baba Sali heard this, he says, that's davening? Say words from a siddur? You didn't mention anything that we're davening to Hashem, that we're speaking to Hashem like you speak to a friend, etc., etc. He says, now I see that we're missing 2 people from the minyan. You got to know. That's what it says over here. You have to understand, just like lahavdil, you have to understand what Avodah Zarah is in order to be mevatel. You have to understand what tefillah is. You have to understand what the Rebbeinu Shalom is in order to daven. Okay? You see that if you don't understand about Avodah Zarah, you don't have the right to be mevatel. So a minor cannot be mevatel. Ushmamino. And the third thing that we learn from here is that if you get a good slap in the face, you still could be mevatel. So Rebbe Chanina said, "This is the I'm not into this." He says, he made fun of it. What? He doesn't agree. Rebbe Elazar Kappa doesn't agree to this. That the Snan, it said in the Mishnah, person who saved something out of the lion's mouth. Yeah, a lion is attacking, let's say, somebody's sheep. I'll show you a little video of it. Or a bear is attacking, and you save it. You go ahead and you save the situation. Now, I cannot go, if I say the word nomer, if I say the word leopard, I got to show you something that I took of a leopard. But the problem is that you all know my picture's leopard. But I'm going to show you a video. I've shown this before, but many of you have not seen it. Most of you have not. Now, just to give you some background, I've gone on 5 safaris, Baruch Hashem, in my life. The first one was after I was 40 years old. My wife promised me for my 40th birthday. Once I went, I got burnt. I had to do it again, and then again. And then we just went on the one for the whole MDY, the Chevra. But the first one, I saw things that I've never seen afterwards. And I didn't realize, when you go on the first one, you don't realize how lucky you are, whatever. So I'll tell you the story. It was like this, very quickly. Has nothing to do with the Gemara. And this is on account of later on learning some Gemara. But I got to tell you, it's about a leopard. It's my favorite animal, so I got to tell you. We were in this place, and actually the guy's name is Yoni Isaacson. He does very nice safaris. It was a high-end safari. And this particular one, I've never done this afterwards, only that one time. Besides the driver, we also had a guide. It's very rare, but some places have it. It's a guy that sits on the hood of the Jeep with his feet almost dangling on the floor. He's that close. He's like on the headlight. There's a little seat there, and that's where he sits. And he's constantly looking for stuff. And all of a sudden, he goes like this. The first day, he goes like this, stop. And they have a discussion, the driver and him discussing, and then he turns to us and he says, listen, we could see there's footsteps of a leopard. But not only that, it looks like he was dragging something. That means there's a leopard around here, somewhere here. He's not going to go that far. How far could he possibly drag a kill? I mean, not a kill, a chase, a kill. Let's call it a kill. So we're going to go look for him. So he turns off the Jeep, and he leaves his gun on the dashboard, and he starts looking for it. And my wife, who's never been on a safari either, and she's nervous. Like, we don't have a guide. And what if a lion pops out of the bush and attacks us? 5 minutes go by, and he's still not back. 10 minutes, we're getting nervous. Maybe he was eaten by the leopard. Finally, he gets back. He says, oh, we found it. This is something special, he tells us. We found it. And in order to get there, he has to go into the ravine, and there's no way to get into the ravine because there's rocks and trees. And with the Jeep, he goes over these rocks. It's like a crazy situation. He's over and under, breaking stuff. He finally gets there. And what we saw, I've never seen this ever again. Not one leopard with a kill, 2 leopards with 2 kills in one tree. Here's the video. Michael, did you ever see this one? You don't know if you saw this one? Where is it? Here it is. The coloring is not good because it's early in the morning and I didn't know what I was doing. Here we go. You can see 2 leopards and each one has its own little kill there. And underneath a tree were hyenas waiting to get a little piece of fallen meat. It was a crazy situation. Anyway, enjoy. This has everything to do with the sugya. Now we know what a number is. Basically, I think what it is, it's a mother and a son. That's what they told us. That's why they were together, because usually after a little period of time, she kicks the kid away, and they're solid. They only go. They're by themselves. They're not like lions that go into pride. They're one leopard at a time. So to see two of them together like that, and a large one with two different kills, crazy. Anyway, enjoy. Weiter. Who was it that came over to me yesterday and said, Abba Renner, he went on a safari. He says, mostly because you talk about it in Shir. See, people say it doesn't change their lives, it changes lives. See that? Weiter. Says the Gemara. So, you say, now let's talk about the real sugya. You save something out of the lion's mouth. So I'm going to show you an older version of our 3D animation. Of course, Safari. MDY Safari. Did you see this one? Again, there's a guy saving somebody else's belongings from a lion. All right. So if you save somebody's thing from a lion, umenagayas, or from soldiers that come in, the enemy, umenanar, and from a river, umezuta shayam, from the tide. So here in Florida, everybody knows what a tide is. It can come sweep your stuff away. But I think, if you think about it, it's mamash inyana diyama, tsunami, right? Today we're talking about Russia, tsunami. There's literally, a tsunami comes and you save somebody's thing. Just as a side note, because we have all the time in the world and we're not even in Amud Beis yet, I have to finish here very soon. So, there was once an earthquake, like in China. And somebody came and told the Chafetz Chaim, there's an earthquake in China, 1,000 people died, whatever it was. And he was shooken up. And the Talmud asked him, why is Rebbe so shooken up? He said, listen, if somebody's speaking Yiddish in the middle of a marketplace, who's he talking to? He's talking to another Jew. Because nobody else understands Yiddish here. It must be he's talking to a Jew. He says, when there's a earthquake in China, who's Hashem talking to? To the Chinese? They don't understand that language. They don't get. They're communist. They don't understand Hashem is sending. So who is he talking to? He's talking to us. When there's a natural disaster in Russia, like we had this morning or yesterday, whenever it was, Hashem is talking to us, not to the Russians. The Russians don't speak that language. They don't chap. The Rebbeinu Shalom, him, this. We have to chap. We have to say to ourselves, something's wrong. We got to change something. I know. I can't control myself. I have to tell you the story. It's a famous one. There was a story with a grandmother. She was watching her grandchild at the beach, and suddenly a big wave came and took her grandchild into the ocean. And she started davening and saying, Hashem, Hashem, help. And just as fast as the wave took him out, another big wave came and pushed him right back onto the shore. She grabbed him and she said, Rebbeinu Shalom, but where's his hat? He was wearing a hat. And it's a big Musar Haskell, because a lot of times we get a zetz and then, we wake up and like, but wait a minute, but this is wrong. My leg doesn't work as well. Hey, but Hashem saved you. You could have been a lot worse. And then, of course, I have to remind the Olam that it's summertime now, and I have to say, once in a while, I have to say Shechianu or Mechayim Mason Takadosh Baruch Hu. When I was a 3-year-old, and my father was a Rebbe in Shar Yashav. He was in his 20s, and he was a Rebbe in Shar Yashav. And we were in the camp over there in the bungalow colony. It's a long story, I'm not going to get into it, but I was trying to build a tree house as a 3-4-year-old, and I saw a beautiful piece of wood that looked like a perfect piece for the treehouse, and I lifted it up, and it happened to be the cover to the cesspool of the entire bungalow colony, and I fell into the cesspool, and it covered me. And I was drowning in a cesspool. It would have been a terrible way to go. And I was saved. I was like saved by the flush, as Nachman Seltzer likes to say. Somebody flushed the toilet apparently, and it gave me a little boost. My head hit the piece of wood, and then my friends, who were also 3 years old, they thought Hashem took me. They didn't realize where I disappeared to. But then I screamed, whatever the word is, and my father came and saved me. And then I remember it was on Shabbos, and he throws me into the bathtub, and he's like getting rid of all the, you can imagine what a cesspool is. And I'm like, Abba, my yarmulke's in the cesspool. He says, don't worry about it. We're going to leave it there for now. Yeah. Okay, so, Zag the Gemara. Now we can do a little learning. So what happens when you save somebody's stuff? You're in the middle of the highway, you find something in the middle of the highway, in the middle of this busy street, a busy store. I said store, forget the store part. A place where there's a lot of people, public. You get to keep it. You hear this? If you find a ring in an airport bathroom, you're allowed to keep it. Because there's a complete yiyush. He gives up on it. He knows he's never going to see it again. So the Gemara is asking, if he's never going to see it again, if he has yiyush, then he annulled it also. Then he said it's not an Avodah Zarah anymore. Oh, Rabbi, what's the connection? You're right, he gives up on it, and he knows in his heart that he'll never see it again. Nobody's ever going to give it back to him. It's a nice golden ring, they're going to keep it for themselves. But he never got rid of the Avodah Zarah part. Why? The guy says to himself, if another idol worshiper will find it, beautiful, he'll continue doing the Avodah Zarah with it. I'm happy. Imagine if you're a chassid and you find a picture of a Litvisha Rosh Hashiva. What are you going to do with it? Nothing, nada. You can give it to your Litvisha friend, that's about it. You could sell it somewhere. You're not going to keep it. So he says to himself, listen, if the Jew finds this Avodah Zarah, maybe he'll sell it to a guy and he'll continue worshiping it. Why should I know the Avodah Zarah in it? I'm not going to know the Avodah Zarah in it. Great. Not awesome. We learned this sugya actually, if you were with us since Rosh Hashanah, Michael, you were with us, Michaels, you were both with us. So we had this word for word, the entire sugya all the way through Amud Beis. Not awesome. The most surest Levadas Hayler Reb Gamliel Ba'aliyasoi B'Tavlo B'Kaisa. Listen to this. Reb Gamliel would test out the Eidim to see if they saw the moon in the proper way, because they didn't have calendars then. You have to testify, I saw the moon like this and like that. So you would have depictions of a moon. Here I have something that it could be, and he would ask the aide, here, what did you see? Here you go. Do you see something like that, like this, yeah? The Gemara asks the question, how could he show such a thing? How could he depict the moon? We just said you're not allowed to depict the moon. Mara said, did you see it like this or like that? I'll tell you the story real quickly. The famous Maisa, there was a woman who came to the Bezin in Haifa and she said, my husband divorced me in America, I want to remarry. And the Dayan didn't like something about what she said. So he says, oh, you got divorced? Let me ask you something. You know that you went around your chassan 7 times this way? So obviously you understand that when you get divorced, you have to go the other way, right? So how many times did you go the other way? Was it 7? She goes, yeah, I went around them 7 times. So you realize that she's lying. Anyway, says Gemara Mishari. How is that allowed? How is he allowed to depict the moon? You're not allowed to do something that's similar to those who serve me. Kaviyachol, referring to the moon and the sun who serve him. Comes Abai with a big chiddush. He says, you're not allowed to do, if this is the servant of Hashem, or here's a better one. Here, we had this question yesterday. These are the lion and the eagle are next to, or the vulture, eagle, vulture, whatever you want to call it, are next to the Kisei HaKavod. But you could depict it. You could make a creation that resembles it. But you know what? You can't you can't resemble the sun. How are you going to do? The sun is how many times larger than the earth? 1,000? 1,000,000? I don't remember. Over 1,000, right? Nobody knows?
Million.
It's a million?
Million. A million.
900,000. I trust you because a million is like one of these round numbers. 900, what?
I studied.
You studied it? So now, can we round it off to a million though? Or you don't allow? Thank you. It's about a million times larger. So you're not going to be able to depict the sun, right? So Mamela says the Gemara, something that you could depict exactly to the exact size, that's what you're not allowed to do. K'desanya, like we learned. You're not allowed to depict the Beis Hamikdash. Check this out. I love this one. Let's say a person wants to be unique in his neighborhood, so he builds himself a house that looks something like this. Check this out. It gets better even. This is in Borough Park, in the middle of the street. He has a one-of-a-kind house. I like his flat screen TV. That's from yesterday, no? That's in Miami. Okay. So anyway, you're not allowed to do that. That you can't do with the same measurements. If you want to go off measurement, that's fine. You want to do the same size as the Heichal. I thought it's fascinating. To me, it was at least. That we're talking about the Beis Hamikdash, Erev Tisha B'Av. And not only that, Rashi, I'm highlighting in Rashi all the times it says Migdash, 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 Ba Migdash, Ba Migdash. So, Chotzer, Tavnis, Azara, you want to do your backyard the size of the Azara. Shulchan, Tavnis, Shulchan, you want a table the same size as the Shulchan in the Heichal. Menorah, you want to make the Menorah, Tavnis Menorah, the same size as the Menorah. I actually went to the owner of the, there's a, what's the name? He does something Migdash. Hey, Mechon Migdash, I think it's called. He has, you see in the old city, he has a menorah. I said, how are you allowed to do it? It says in Gemara over here, you're not allowed to do it. He says, no, we created a menorah for the Beis Hamikdash. I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for the Beis Hamikdash. I hear? So you're not allowed to do something, the menorah, with the same amount of, the same size and the same amount of candles. What are they called? Branches, thank you. Who's that? The kid that studied or somebody else? Oh, you. You also study? Shkoyach. Nice. The branches. That's exactly the word I was looking for. You're allowed to do 5, 6, 8. How many branches were there in the Beis Hamikdash? 7. 7 you're not allowed to do. By the way, I only checked this out with Hatzorfim. They will not sell. They will sell, but they won't advertise any candelabra for Shabbos lighting with 7 branches. It's not on their website. They have 5, 6, 8, not 7. One of the famous questions, the famous question of the Beis Yosef: how come Hanukkah is 8 days, not 7 days? They found enough oil for one day, so let's take off one day. Why are you making a holiday for 8 days if it's supposed to be 7? So one of the answers is because then people will make a menorah of 7, and you can't have a menorah of 7. My favorite answer is that everybody has their favorite answers. Share with you. Why not? Because every day, very little oil was used. So even on that 8th day that we had enough oil, they didn't use the whole oil for that day. It was a small amount. So that itself is an ace. Okay. Next, says the Gemara, even if you want to use other types of metal, not gold. Don't make it out of wood even. The Chashmonaim did it out of wood. No, it's not true. They didn't use wood. It was actually metal. The chayvim bebats, and they wrapped it with tin, and that looks like wood, but they never used wood. Okay, Hashiru, when they became wealthier, the Chashmonaim asom shel kesef, then they switched from wood or from this metal to silver. Chazav Hashiru, when they became much wealthier, asom shel zav, they made it out of gold. I just thought maybe we could learn a little bit of Yisaider that's, I think, important to a lot of people, especially here in America, to live within your means. I think a lot of us, we live on credit, and we have to get a car that the neighbors will be impressed with, and a house, and we have to do weddings that cost $100,000 because all the neighbors do it like that. And perhaps you could see this idea from here, that the Chashmonaim, they could have gone around collecting money maybe, I don't know, get a nicer menorah. No, they made it out of wood, they made it out of tin, because that's what they could afford. At that point, that's what they were able to afford. Let's afford that. They could have gone to silver right. No, this is what we afford. This is what we're going to do. Let's live within our abilities. It's very difficult. I know it's difficult, but we have to try. I want to share this with you because I got it today. Check this out. What do you guys see here on this thing? Because it's larger. If you see it on a phone, people see a purple thing. It's like they see purple. You see that? But because it's very large, I don't know, because it's higher up, it doesn't work on you guys. Next, I'm not going to talk about it then. People just see purple. Once you see forks, you don't see purple. Then you realize it's on a purple towel. But before you see like 4 purple weird things, you don't see the fork. Okay, anyway. This is a guy that's drawing a thing, all AI animated, crazy stuff. Yeah. I don't want to miss stuff. Oh, that's that. Okay. What's this? Oh. No, this is the brand new location in Neve Yaakov, and this is in Telstone. This is what they do nightly. It's not once a week, it's nightly. It's unbelievable. Okay. You guys can do it here. Hollywood, Florida will be the first one in Florida. Huh? What do you say? Zok the Gemara. And another thing, Rabbi, I'll say this out loud. The idea of having screens in yeshivas at night at downtime, not in lieu of a shiur or anything, but when guys are not really learning that much, to have it. We're doing it in a few yeshivas. Hechel Torah is one of them in New York, and a really famous Hasidic yeshiva in Bnei Brak is thinking about it. And I think it's the future. It really is, because guys could gain so much knowledge in Torah in a fun way, an exciting way, in a kosher way, and it could be done in camps. And so think about that idea also, where we can increase Torah. Says the Gemara. But a moon and a sun that you can't do it in real life size, you're allowed to depict it. We learned this already, that you're not allowed to do anything that depicts Hashem's servants, meaning like the sun and the moon. So the question that I had, are you allowed to do what that shul in Woodburn has, which is, let me just show it again. Hold on, Mark. Where was it? Oh, here. Right over here. Is that allowed? The answer is yes. Why? Because the Isser is to take the lion. Who are the 4 that Hashem has by his Kisah Kavod? Human being, lion, bull, and nesher, eagle, or vulture. To put all 4 of them in one face, like 4-sided face. That one side is a human, one side is a lion. That's the Isser. To make it individual is not a problem. Keep on going. Yeah, now I'll do the sponsors in a second. Ask the Gemara, parts of Adam Chudei Tishrei. What, you let it do a human face by itself? So this is the problem. The biggest problem is a human being. That's one of the 3 things we learned in that brisa. You're not allowed to make the face of a human being. I heard this from Yeshua. Listen to this. Hold on, Mark. Oh, you know what? Let me just read this so Mark doesn't go crazy. Turning to the daf. Adar Global MDY is ensuring the benefit of Mises of Adar's MDY clients. Create more Mises for MDY so Adar can help us all get into Amud Beis. Anonymous. Anonymous. As a schos. I have to get to my father. -9 minutes. Oh, here we go. Right over here. It says in the pasuk Leisasun iti. We could read it. Leisasun oisi. Do not create a depiction of me, Hashem. How do you depict Hashem? Here, by depicting a human being. It's unbelievable. We have to think about this. When you depict a human being, you're depicting Hashem. That's how close we are to Hashem. We're Tzelem Elokim. It's not a joke. It's not Tzelem Elokim. We resemble in a certain way, whatever that means, the Rebbeinu Shalom. There's an issue to make me, to depict me. But you can depict anything else you want. What? You could really depict anything? Don't depict. I didn't show this. Let me see how this worked out. This is the ring. Again. This is, who was it? Rebbe Lazar HaKapar. And he has a ring. He didn't want him mevatel, so he whacked him over the head. Okay, got it. Next. Where am I? What's this? This was we showed. This Telstone, yeah. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for. This guy. Says Gemara. There was the third time we had this. You're not allowed to depict any of Hashem's servants. And now over here it explains. How do you depict a malach? If you wanted to draw a malach, how would you draw a malach? A human being with wings, says Rashi. Yeah? So you're not allowed to do that. The upper, there's different levels. Hashem said you're not allowed to depict the upper level one. But it would seem like the lower level, yes, like the sun, like the moon. As the Gemara, what that's allowed. You're not allowed to even depict the sun and the moon, the stars and the constellations. So here's the pasuk, and the Gemara is learning four things from the pasuk. Asher b'shamayim in red, mimal in purple, asher ba'aretz in green, mitachas in red. So now we're going to learn two. Mimal, l'rabis malach hasharis. Sorry, Asher b'shamayim, from the red and Asher b'shamayim, we learn the sun, moon, the stars, and the constellations. Mimal, the upper one, l'rabis malach hasharis. It comes to include the malachim. So you see, you're not allowed to depict anything. Kitanya, he loved them, says the Gemara. No, that's to worship them. We're not talking about an artist carving it out of stone. To worship it is also. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. To worship, you're not allowed to worship anything. He loved them. Afilu shilshul katanami. Remember yesterday? What happened when I said shilshul katan? The guy says, I'm a shilshul. So, hold on, that's something else. So here's shilshul katan. This is a great one. I like this one. He finds a worm in his apple. You're not even worship a worm, which is the lowest of the low. So what do you mean you're not allowed to worship the sun and the moon? Of course you can't worship the sun and the moon. Says Gemara, he actually learns this from the end of the pasuk. The Sanya Sheba Aretz, the rabbis Yam Naharis, Har Mukvais here. Sheba Aretz comes to teach us even mountains and rivers. Mitachas, the rabbi Shilshul Katan. That he learns from the word mitachas. As Gemara Vasiya, greatest Mishari, but to make something to depict it, is that allowed? How could Rabbi Gamliel depict this moon? How does he have pictures of the moon on his wall? For the fourth time. How could Rabbi Gamliel depict the moon when it says, you're not allowed to depict my servants? You're not allowed to depict the sun and the moon. Shani Rabbi Gamliel says, Rabbi Gamliel is different. He got it from the non-Jew. He didn't depict it. He bought it in the store. He got it as a gift from a guy. But the story with Rabbi Yehuda, what happened? Shmuel tells Rabbi Yehuda's Talmud, Shinana, you sharp one. Sami ain't didain. So Shmuel found a ring that had, Rabbi Yehuda had a ring that had a depiction of a dragon or a person. I think it was who says dragon? How do you know? It says over there in the art school? No. I think it was a person. Oh, he says a person? Good. Person, thank you. Human face. So, yesterday I said in Shir that one day my father came home. He must have been inspired by the Chavetz Chaim, was very anti-dolls and everything. He says you have to cut off an arm, a nose. So he comes with the scissors, he starts cutting my sister's dolls. So I told Yoshi the artist, I said, does anybody know what my father looks like? Have you ever seen a picture of that? Okay. So if you know what my father looks like, I said, do some AI of him destroying this eye. Because Shmuel said to review that you have to destroy his eye. I thought it was cool. It's not bad, no? I mean, that's a little bit of a wicked smile, but okay, it's not. Your father's a real kaddish. You have to, if you have a chance, he's moving to Eretz Yisrael this week, so you better run out there and see him because it's going to be far in between before you see a guy like that. Says the Gemara. Hasam says the Gemara b'choisami boilet. There's a difference. You can see over here that this is facing outward. So over here he did two types of rings. You have Trump and you have Obama. Obama is indented. What happens when you put it on a piece of wax? You'll have the piece of wax will be boilet.
It'll come up.
Right. It'll be raised. Thank you. When you take the Trump one, which starts out raised, and you put it into wax, what's going to be? It's going to be concaved. So each one has a pro and a con. The Trump one is also to wear on your finger. Why? Because it's convex. Well, that's too fancy of a word. Let's use an easier one. What? It's raised. Raised. Let's not change it. Raised. And people are going to think you're worshiping him. Like he worships himself, kind of, whatever. But if you do the concave one, it's concave? That you're allowed to wear. The Obama one you're allowed to wear. But you're not allowed to seal something with it because then it's going to be raised and that's awesome. So it says the Gemara, it's like the Trump one. It's raised and people are going to think you're doing Avodah Zarah. If you have a ring that it's raised, you're not allowed to wear it, but you're allowed to sign with it. But if it's concave, you're allowed to wear the Obama one, but you're not allowed to. So the Gemara, what are you concerned? That people are going to think that you're doing Avodah Zarah. There's a shul in this place. Shafi Yosef ben Arda was in Arda. They put a whole statue of the king in honor of the king, a living king. Shmuel's father and Levi, two Gdolei Olam. They used to daven in the shul. They didn't make a macha. They went and davened there even though there was a statue. They would daven there. And they weren't concerned that people are going to think that they're worshiping the statue. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Shani, if there's a lot of people going in and out, nobody's concerned that you're worshiping the Avodah Zarah. As the Gemara of Rabbi Gamliel, the Yachad he was an individual and he had these moons. People are going to say that he's worshiping them. Kiva the Nasi, or Rabbi Gamliel was the Nasi. He was the head of the Sanhedrin. There's people coming in and out of his house. Like all G'daylim have people coming in and out. The program was made out of many pieces. We have some sort of depiction here, how it looks. Let me see if I can find it. Wow, it's not in order today, sorry. Where was it? By the way, let me just show you this real quickly. Mark found this. This is a concaved seal that they just found. It says, Layadaya ben Oshaya, top official under King Yoshio of Yehuda. They just found this near Har HaBayis. This dates back to the period before the destruction of the first Beis HaMikdash. Now, that one, Mark, click on it. Shkoyach. So if these depictions of the moon are broken up into many pieces, that's okay. When he needs to the testimony of David, and then he pulls them out. The Prokamav, it's made out of many pieces. To teach other people, you're allowed to have these depictions of moons and suns. The Sanya, Silmalasses, don't learn to do. About the Lamin, liars. We have the Gemara, the famous Gemara, when Kiva learned how to do Kishuv, he made all these gourds out of Kishuv because he was showing the Talmidim, or Gamliel and Rebbe Kiva, to show the Talmidim it's allowed. But, so over here, he's teaching, so to teach, you're allowed to make a moon, but not to have it for yourself. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. Yeshua Kaya.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.